Hey, loves. So we are live on both Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So if you see me looking in two different directions, that is why. But I wanted to talk about this whole idea of feeling worthy to be in a relationship. Oftentimes, the biggest obstacle that I have with working with my clients is them feeling that for some reason or another, it's not going to happen for them. They're not going to be able to be in this healthy relationship that they so desire to be in. They believe that they're too old or too young or not pretty enough or too ambitious or not ambitious enough. All these different reasons that keep them from feeling like they are not worthy to be in an unhealthy relationship. I want to talk about the two biggest things that I think hold most people back. And those two things are gossiping and unforgiveness. So here's the thing, we have so much power to create our lives and change our lives based on what we say. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And that's really important for us to keep in mind because it applies not just to how we talk, you know, how we talk to ourselves. I believe that affirmations are important and all of that, but also the way in which we talk about others, we are putting that energy out there. So when we talk down on others, when we constantly trash other people, we are putting that negative energy on ourselves too. It also creates the situation where when we are so judgmental of others, we become so judgmental of ourselves. So if you were in a relationship and you, for example, get out of that relationship and you start constantly talking about how this person was unreliable. Whenever you needed them, they weren't there. You couldn't depend on them. And people who are unreliable are just the worst, right? They're so awful. How could this person be so inconsiderate? Yes, if someone has a pattern of that, then you shouldn't be with them. At the same time, if you are constantly going on and on about this and you are so fixated on talking about it all the time, here's what will happen. There will be a moment because you are human. There will be a moment in which you yourself are unreliable. And when that moment comes, you are going to judge yourself as harshly as you judged that other person. You're going to go on about how you now are not worthy and you are not as great of a person as you thought you were because you had this one F up, right? And because of that, it takes down your own self esteem, and you start to feel like, well, I said that this person wasn't reliable, and therefore they were a terrible person who wasn't worthy of relationships. Maybe that applies to me now. Maybe I am also unworthy of a relationship because I exhibited the same behavior that they exhibited, and therefore I am also trash. So when we constantly talk about other people being trash for this reason or for that reason, then when we have our moments where, oh my goodness, we're human and we have the nerve to do something that we typically wouldn't do, we end up putting ourselves subconsciously in that same category. And this ruins our worthiness quotient. This is where unforgiveness also comes in. I always tell my clients because the things that I help my clients work on before they go out there and date are learning how to heal from unhealthy relationship patterns and not just romantic ones, but patterns in their family members, friends, coworkers, all of that as well. Because all relationships are related. You show me a person who has issues with dating, they most definitely also have issues with family, friends, coworkers, clients, all of that, because not being able to set boundaries in one area is difficulty setting boundaries in other areas. Communication issues in one area is communication issues in another area. So when we have these relationships where we haven't forgiven people for the things that they've done that have hurt us, and we hold on to that, that energy is heavy. That energy is negative, and it just creates more energy that is like it. So we end up staying in this heavy fog of energy that doesn't allow us to see love, that doesn't allow us to see opportunities for happiness and for growth. And we become so fixated on the things that are weighing us down that we go out here and we meet people and all that, but we don't see the people who can lift us up. We're blinded to that because we're so focused on the things that our brain likes to create patterns. Our brain likes to do whatever it can to make sense of the world. So if your brain is fixated on negative, it will keep creating more and more negative. Um, when I was in college, I studied religion. And I say that because if you don't believe me, every belief system in the world has some view of this. So, you know, spirituality people, law of attraction people will say what you focus on magnifies. If you're Christian, is as a man thinketh, so is he. Every major religion has this belief that the things that you focus on, you get more of out of life. And I say that because if that is so universal, if it's not just one person's belief system who has that, there has to be some truth to it as well, right? So when we allow ourselves to spiral on the negative things, we blind our own brains to seeing the people who are healthy for us. So forgiveness is never about other people. Um, Frankly, screw other people. Not that I don't love other people, but at the end of the day, healthy relationships are about finding what aligns with you and what makes you happy. And that's not selfish at all, because once you find those things, once you are in a relationship that makes you happy, that makes you joyful, that allows you to feel at peace and calm, you're able to give to other people and to love other people from your overflow. And that is the best kind of love that you can give someone, is when you are able to do that. So it is really important that when we think about what it takes to feel to be worthy of being in a relationship, we understand that being worthy of being in a relationship starts with feeling like you are worthy. And in order to have that feeling that you are worthy to be in a relationship, that starts with understanding people are human, people make mistakes. Sometimes people screw up, that not everything in this life is personal. Sometimes people aren't bad to you because they're bad people or they hate you. They're bad people because, or they're bad in that relationship with you. Excuse me. They're bad in that relationship with you because they just aren't aligned with what you want. They can't love you in the way that you need to be loved. Or they are hurt, and hurt people hurt people. And that doesn't mean that you have to put up with foolishness. If you have done the work on yourself, if you have made a concerted effort to be better, to heal, then yes, you want to be with someone who is also healed or who is putting in that work as well. But once you stop taking things so damn personally, and you start to realize that sometimes it's just not it. Like, this situation is, this person isn't aligned with you and you should just move on, then you will be so much happier, you will be so much lighter, and out of that happiness, that calm and that peace, you will attract more calm and peace into your life. And attracting that extra calm and peace into your life also comes in the form of better partners, of better relationships. You know, it was my own experience. I found myself at one point in my life being in a situation where I was just constantly holding on to grudges with other people, always finding ways to be big mad about something that someone said. And I found that it was the second that I learned how to drop that stuff, how to not be so bothered, that I started to find better relationships in my life. My grandmother used to say that the best revenge was living well. And I didn't quite get it until I realized that once I started living well, one, I had a happier, healthier life. Two, the people who were determined to be mad and be haters were pissed because they couldn't make me miserable. So there's always that. But also, I didn't care as much. And, I think that that is the best story that you could ever have, not these TV shows and Hollywood endings where people do all these elaborate things to get revenge on someone, but that feeling when you can walk away. I think that is the if someone truly doesn't like you, if you really have a hater like you say you do, I think that's the biggest F you that you can give them is to just not care. And from that not caring to be in a position where that you are happier, you are more whole, and things in your life get better because you've allowed yourself to let go of the things that don't serve you and make room for the things that do serve you. So, again, just a thought for today. I want to ask you, how can you allow yourself to live in more peace? And what is something that you can let go of? Who is someone that you can forgive so that you can make room for more peace and more worthiness in your life? I will talk to you soon. Love you so much.